Hello everyone and welcome back to Rick's Garage. Today is the day I know a lot of you have been waiting for. Miss Vicky is back from the tuner.
Say hello to the bad side. My emotion is flatline. Hungry demon, what I'm seeing is snack time. When I rush in to grab, I better run from the path line.
If you're new to the channel, Miss Vicky is my 2017 Honda Civic Si. Here's a link to her intro episode, but since that video she's gone through some changes. I've upgraded to Honda's HFP Sport suspension, which replaces the struts, shocks, and springs, and the kit even provides a new suspension ECU. The front and rear sway bars have both been replaced with adjustable white line bars and lateral locks, and the front brakes received a huge upgrade from Wilwood's Big Brake Kit. It features 6-piston calipers along with slotted and drilled 2-piece rotors. Phase 1 of the upgrades finished off with the install of a Stage 2 Plus clutch and single mass flywheel from Spec. Now these will provide all the extra clamping force needed to hold the additional power gained from the bolt-ons in Phase 2. The Go Fast parts included a larger intercooler from PRL Motorsports, a bigger and better cold air intake and turbocharger from 271 Performance, and a free-flowing catted downpipe and front pipe combo from RV6 Performance. Finishing off Phase 2 was a full catback exhaust system from MagnaFlow. As soon as the last bolt was tightened, I was on the phone with MDA Fabrication in Delta, BC to let them know Miss Vicky was ready to go. With so many things changing under the hood, it wasn't safe to run the engine on the OEM tune. So a flatbed was called over and Miss Vicky was safely strapped down for her trip across town. Once there, Mac and I sat down and discussed how I plan to drive the car. Now this information is important for your tuner to know because it will help them dial your car in so it does exactly what you want it to do. Now, as much as I would love a flame-spitting land rocket, that's just not what this car is. Yes, I've seen the guys that can squeeze every last drop out of these motors, but I don't want to end up like this guy on my way to work in the morning. Any honest car guy will tell you that there is a direct relation between adding power and a vehicle's reliability. When you want more of one, you give up some of the other. Now, if this car had a crazy engine like the 2J or the infamous K-Series, that's one thing. But the reality is, it's a 1.5 liter, and more importantly, it's my daily driver. However, the hidden talent of every Civic Si since its introduction in 1984 has been its ability to handle corners. It was designed and marketed as a track-capable car with air conditioning that you can drive every day. During our discussion, I mentioned to Mac that I'm planning on giving this car some track time. So, unlike a drag tune which produces phenomenal cosmic power but is intended for very short bursts, he gave Miss Vicky a tune which produces a lower maximum power but will allow her to stay at or near 100% throttle for a much longer time. So that means less of this and more of this. It feels like forever ago, back in episode 8 when I got the baseline dyno done. Because the car ended up dynoing out at 186 wheel horsepower and 193 foot-pounds of torque. After all the bolt-ons and Honda tuning from Mac, Miss Vicky now dynos out at 255 wheel horsepower and 253 foot-pounds of torque. Now that's an increase of almost 70 horse and 60 foot-pounds, and that's what's being delivered to the asphalt from nothing but bolt-ons. The other really cool thing that Mac programmed in was high and low boost maps that are toggled by the Sport button. So Miss Vicky really can go from mild to wild in a moment's notice. Combine that with the sticky Pilot Sport 4S tires that came with the HFP kit, I think there's some fun to be had at the track. Now that Miss Vicky's ECU can play nice with all the new parts and the car is safe to drive, if she's going to be out in public, let's make sure she's dressed nicely. The third and final phase of the upgrades is going to focus on style. Now personally, I think Honda did a great job on this car. The lines are sharp, and even some of the bolder aspects, well, they start to grow on you. Now, as nice as these cars look, I'm going to be making some subtle changes that will visually set this SI apart from the rest. And that's it, you are now up to date. If you've enjoyed this recap episode, drop a like, and if you want to see what Phase 3 is going to look like, be sure to subscribe with notifications so you don't miss a thing. Also, if you came here looking for Quarantina, don't worry, she's on the back burner short term, but you definitely haven't seen the last of her. So to everyone who's tuned in, I'm Rick the Welder, and as always, thank you very much for watching.